Welcome back. We have some very sad breaking entertainment news to share with you. TMZ is reporting that Malcolm Jamal Warner, probably best known for his role on The Cosby Show, has died.
Jamal Warner dead at the age of 54 on a drowning accident.
People report that the 54-year-old was in Costa Rica on a family vacation and accidentally drowned while swimming.
The shocking news of Malcolm Jamal Warner's tragic death has the internet in complete meltdown. People can't stop talking, and now new whispers are surfacing. Whispers that flip the whole story upside down and have fans questioning everything we thought we knew. At first, everyone believed it was just some freak accident, an unfortunate twist of fate. But hold up, behind the scenes, Malcolm's family has been desperately fighting to keep certain chilling details from being swept under the rug. And guess what? They're finally done staying silent. They're spilling pieces of the truth that are making this whole thing look way darker than anyone imagined. Now, these fresh claims suggest Malcolm didn't just suddenly pass away. No, some believe he may have been targeted. And the timing? It's way too suspicious to ignore. He even reportedly gave cryptic warnings just days before his death, hinting that something wasn't right. According to people close to him, this wasn't some random tragedy. It was cold, calculated, and intentional. We're talking eerie messages, strange encounters, and unexplained moments that now make fans shiver. Folks who saw him before the trip said he seemed anxious, like he knew something was coming. What was he scared of? Who was he trying to protect? The official story claims he drowned while swimming at Clay Beach in Costa Rica during a peaceful family vacation. But let's get real. Clay Beach is infamous for violent waves and deadly undercurrents. And yeah, reports say those same dangerous conditions were raging that day. But the question is, was he really just unlucky, or was there more at play? According to local authorities, bystanders did rush in to help when they saw Malcolm struggling in the water. But by the time Costa Rica's Red Cross arrived, it was already too late.
First time it made me think of Black excellence in a different way, right? Like because Black excellence now is attributed to fame and money.
Never.
So that's been my issue.
Never for me.
With it. But now when I'm looking into the story, like Black survival in and of itself is Black excellence.
He was pulled from the waves unresponsive, and within minutes declared dead. Just like that, gone. No warning, no second chances. Now here's the thing, police were lightning fast to shut down any talk of foul play. They labeled it a simple tragedy, a heartbreaking accident, and insisted there was nothing more to see. But really, that quick dismissal has only made people even more suspicious. Because while the public was still in shock, trying to make sense of the devastating news, those closest to Malcolm were already whispering behind closed doors. Multiple insiders are saying his family straight up does not believe the official version of events. They claim too many details aren't lining up, too many gaps in the story that just don't make sense. And here's where it gets really unsettling. Behind the scenes, his loved ones have reportedly been quietly but relentlessly pushing for answers. They've been digging, asking the hard questions, because something about the way everything went down feels way too off. They're convinced this wasn't just a random freak accident. They believe there's a deeper layer to the story, something hidden that nobody wants out in the open. But what's making people side-eye the whole situation even harder is how little actual info has been released, especially from witnesses. Clay Beach is not some quiet, empty spot. It's a known tourist area buzzing with people, cameras, phones. So why are there so few clear accounts of what really happened that day? Why is everything so vague? Clay Beach isn't some hidden, empty stretch of sand. It's a popular public hotspot packed with tourists, locals, and beachgoers every single day.
Media focuses on, and
that we're all one thing.
Yeah, and the whole concept is, we're not all hood. The Black community is not a monolith. There's so many levels and lanes to the Black community, and we wanted to have a space where we could acknowledge, discuss all of those lanes.
So tell me how, in a place that busy, not one single photo, video, or even a clear eyewitness account has surfaced. That's not just weird, it's setting off major alarms. Sure, you could argue it's disrespectful to record someone in their final moments. In a perfect world, people would have the decency to put the phone down and actually help instead of filming. But let's keep it real. When has the internet ever cared about that, especially when a celebrity is involved? Whether it's shock, clout chasing, or just plain curiosity, somebody almost always hits record. There's always at least one blurry clip, a random post, or a rushed eyewitness account floating around when tragedy strikes. But this time, nothing. Not a single shaky video. No beachgoer bragging online that they saw it happen. Not even a secondhand story about people running into the water to save him. Zero. Yeah, that's not just strange. It's suspicious as hell. And for Malcolm's fans and family, it's getting harder and harder to swallow the idea that this was just some random tragic accident with no hidden layers. Something's not adding up, and people are starting to ask louder questions. What's really making folks raise their eyebrows even higher? The fact that there were no lifeguards on duty when Malcolm drowned. Think about that. On a well-known, busy beach, nobody was officially there to keep people safe. Later, the Caribbean Guard brushed it off, claiming there weren't any lifeguards that day because of resource issues. But come on, they straight up admitted that Clay Beach had been on their radar for years because of how dangerously unpredictable it is. So explain this. If they knew it was a high-risk area, why weren't they patrolling that day? Why weren't there clear warning signs saying no swimming allowed plastered all over the place?
Because we've always had to supersede, do better, and more things have been put in our way to cross over.
And see, the thing about it, I don't ever look at it as a subset. I look at it as special. Because excellence, white people mediocre. Always have been. They don't have to try as hard. They don't have to, because somebody else will come clean it up.
And here's the kicker. Right after the news of Malcolm's death hit headlines, they suddenly put out a statement saying they were redirecting resources back to Clay Beach and another nearby beach infamous for deadly currents. So, yeah, you can see why people are calling this timing way too convenient. It's like they only cared to act after tragedy struck, and only because the victim was someone known worldwide. Feels more like damage control than real concern, doesn't it? But that's not the only thing making folks side-eye the situation. The timeline of what actually happened that day is a whole other red flag waving in everyone's face. Reports are all over the place about how long Malcolm was in the water, how many people actually tried to help him, and exactly when emergency responders showed up. Those vague, conflicting details, they're not just sloppy, they're sketchy. And online, people are saying what everyone's thinking. If this was such a clear-cut accident, why is the timeline so hard to lock down? It shouldn't be this complicated to piece together the last moments of a man on a crowded beach. But what really tipped people over the edge was the timing of his death itself. Just 2 days, yes, 2 days before the drowning, Malcolm released what would now be his final podcast episode, chillingly titled Not All Hood. Fans are replaying it, combing through every word, looking for hidden meanings. Did he know something? Was it a warning, or was it just coincidence? In the episode I'm about to play, Malcolm got real, raw, and unfiltered about survival, Black identity, and the constant uphill battle to rise above crushing stereotypes. He wasn't holding back. There was one line in particular that's now haunting fans everywhere. Black survival in itself is Black excellence. Yeah, that line hits different now. For some, it doesn't feel like just a reflection anymore. It feels like a goodbye, almost like a quiet warning, a final message he may not have even realized would be his last, or maybe he did know.
The name came from our third host, Wayusi Baraka, and the reason for the title is combating the narrative of Black life, Black culture that the media focuses on.
Either way, the timing of his words feels way too suspicious to brush off. It's become a major piece of the puzzle for everyone who refuses to believe this was just a random accident, and it doesn't stop there. Here's the part that's making even more people raise eyebrows. Malcolm wasn't just another celebrity, he was a voice, a loud, unapologetic one. He was known for speaking his mind boldly, especially when it came to race, power, and identity. He didn't play it safe, he didn't tiptoe around the truth. In that same podcast episode, he didn't sugarcoat a single thing. And in another interview, not too long before his death, he straight up called out how mainstream media twists the image of Black men, how society constantly tries to box them in, label them, silence them. He talked about how exhausting it is to keep surviving when the system feels like it's designed to erase your voice. And here's the thing, Candace, listen close. That kind of raw honesty made Malcolm deeply respected, but it also painted a target on his back. Fans are already connecting the dots, and the pattern is disturbing. Outspoken black voices, the ones who speak truth to power, somehow ending up silenced, too often under mysterious, unclear, or downright suspicious circumstances. And with the way Malcolm's life was cut short so suddenly, so unexpectedly, it's starting to feel way too familiar. It's giving people chills. That same podcast episode that now feels like a final message. In it, Malcolm boldly called out the media for constantly recycling the same tired, one-dimensional hood narrative. He exposed how they strip away the complexity and depth of black life, leaving nothing but a flat, hollow stereotype for the world to consume. He said straight up, it's not just lazy, it's dangerous. Because when all people see is trauma and struggle,
we've never had that luxury. We've always had to be twice, 10 times as good. So black excellence is better. It's just what it is. We just put black on it because it is. We've had to always be that. We've never, no matter what we've done, and even when we're better than them, they still will find a way to put somebody over us. That's just what it is.
It fuels the same stereotypes that have been used to trap, limit, and box black communities in for generations. It's a cycle that's been weaponized, and he wasn't afraid to say it out loud. But the part that really hit home, what's echoing the loudest right now, is how Malcolm flipped the whole idea of black excellence. He didn't tie it to fame or money or status symbols. He made it clear. Just surviving, just existing with dignity in a world that constantly tries to erase you, that alone is black excellence. And his exact words were, black survival in itself is black excellence. And now, with the eerie timing of his death, that message feels way more loaded than anyone could have imagined. What once sounded like pure truth and reflection now feels like a deeper warning, like there was something he was trying to tell us without saying it outright. Malcolm's final podcast dropped just 48 hours, yes, only 2 days before his death. For a lot of people, that timing doesn't feel like coincidence at all. Fans aren't seeing it as just another episode. They're seeing it as a statement, a signal, maybe even a final cry for help. And here's where the whispers get even more unsettling. Word on the street says Malcolm's own family doesn't believe that podcast was just random. Rumor has it they think he used that episode to send a message, not just to his loyal listeners, but directly to certain people who might have not liked what he was saying. We're talking about people with power, people who benefit from silence. And if that's true, it leads to one chilling question that's been echoing online. Was Malcolm silenced because he refused to stay quiet? Was this his way of speaking out one last time before someone made sure he couldn't anymore? It only gets more suspicious the deeper you look. The lack of direct evidence from the scene, the confusing, conflicting reports, the total blackout of clear details, all of it is fueling even more doubts. Because if this really was just a simple, tragic drowning, fans keep asking the same questions on repeat, louder and louder. Where's the transparency? Who was actually there that day? What really happened in those final moments? And this is where things really start heating up. Because according to whispers spreading online, Malcolm's own family isn't buying the official version either. Word is they're already considering bringing in a private investigator.
Because they're so varied in terms of our perspectives and our opinions and our ways of life. And we wanted to be able to have a place where we can talk about all of those things, discuss all of those things, and shed light on the not all hood aspects of who we are.
To retrace his final steps and dig for the truth that no one seems willing to talk about. They want answers that the authorities aren't giving, answers that the media isn't pressing for. Reports say Malcolm's family finds the entire situation highly suspicious. And here's the theory that's really making people's blood run cold. They believe Malcolm might have already been dead before he even touched the water. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but the rumor is that he may have been injected with some kind of slow-acting poison, something that wouldn't show symptoms until it was too late. Allegedly, it only kicked in once he was at the beach, leaving him weak, disoriented, and helpless in the water. If that's true, it would explain why he ended up in the water in the first place and why no one saw the typical signs of a simple drowning. It changes everything. But what makes this even more chilling is the detail that his young daughter was present that day. She was right there, part of the trip. And now fans are connecting the dots, tying Malcolm's mysterious death to a much larger and much darker pattern. a pattern that seems to follow outspoken black voices who refuse to play by the system's rules. They've pointed straight to Nipsey Hussle, who was gunned down in cold blood while advocating for black ownership and community power. Then there's Dave Chappelle, who didn't lose his life but still faced heavy backlash and even a physical attack for walking away from a multi-million-dollar deal simply because he refused to be controlled by the system. And then, one of the most haunting examples, Martin Lawrence. Fans believe Martin was poisoned with something that triggered a full mental breakdown. Back in May 1996, Martin was spotted at a busy intersection in Sherman Oaks, California. Witnesses say he was holding a firearm and screaming at random cars, shouting chilling things like, "They're trying to kill me." One person even claimed Martin yelled, "Fight, don't give up, fight the power," while officers were wrestling him to the ground and rushing him into the hospital. But here's where it gets really suspicious. Almost immediately, the media started painting Martin as trouble, hinting that he was probably on drugs or spiraling out of control. It's the same tired playbook used over and over. Discredit the voice, distract from the deeper truth. But then something strange happened. The doctors who treated Martin at the hospital completely shut that narrative down. In fact, the medical center's spokesperson, Ron Wise, told reporters there was absolutely no substance of any type in Martin's system. Zero. Nothing. So if drugs weren't the issue and Martin himself was clearly terrified, screaming for help, what was really going on that day? Who was he running from? Who might have been chasing him? And let's not forget Angie Stone, another name now whispered in the same breath as these eerie tragedies. She just passed away under circumstances that are way too suspicious to ignore. What really raised eyebrows is that she was the only one who didn't survive that so-called tragic car accident. Everyone else walked away, but not her. And honestly, it's all starting to sound way too familiar. Just like Malcolm, Angie had recently been calling out the industry, hinting that she was sitting on some serious dirt. Some folks even say she knew way too much about what really goes on behind the scenes and what happened right before the crash. Angie made a chilling post on Instagram, a message that now feels like her warning shot. She wrote, "I have just discovered something that's been hidden in the dark for too long. By publishing what's stolen, and guess what? I know exactly who did it, but don't get it twisted. I'm coming for you. All the dogs who thought they could take what's mine, trust I'm ready." Just like Jamie Foxx said, what had happened was, now it's my turn to share my testimony. It's a new chapter. And you can bet the truth is coming to light. Stay tuned. Fans read that and instantly felt the heat. That wasn't just a random post. That was a direct threat aimed at powerful people lurking in the shadows. It was Angie letting the world know she was about to expose something big. And then, just days later, she was gone. No warning, no follow-up. Just another voice silenced. Whether it's pure coincidence or something far more sinister, people are definitely starting to connect the dots. Fans aren't seeing these stories as random tragedies anymore. To them, it's beginning to look like a pattern, a dangerous pattern that shows exactly what happens when someone dares to step outside the box or refuses to play the industry's twisted games. And what makes Malcolm's case even more striking is just how different his career path really was. Unlike so many former child stars, he didn't spiral out of control. He didn't chase clout or cheap headlines. He didn't fall into messy drama to stay relevant. Instead, he kept his life quiet, intentional, focused on meaningful work that spoke to deeper truths. Over time, Malcolm shifted from sitcom stardom into spoken word, into thought-provoking content that dug into real issues. He talked openly about mass incarceration, cultural erasure, and what it truly means to exist as a black man in America. He wasn't looking for fame, he was searching for truth, and that truth didn't always sit well with people who hold power. It wasn't about staying in the spotlight for him, it was about telling stories that mattered. But according to his family, that's exactly what made him a threat. Speaking truth in a world built on silence, that's dangerous. And they believe that danger may have caught up to him. This is why his loved ones can't accept that his death was just some random accident. It doesn't line up with who he was or what he was starting to uncover. Was Malcolm's death part of a bigger picture? One where outspoken black voices suddenly face tragedy the moment their influence starts to shift the culture? That's the chilling question sitting heavy on everybody's mind right now. Because Malcolm wasn't just another celebrity chasing attention. He had a clean reputation, a growing platform, and a message powerful enough to inspire change. He wasn't stuck in scandals. He wasn't chasing clout. He was respected, deeply respected for his acting, his speaking, and most importantly, his truth-telling. And that final podcast, fans believe it was more than just another episode. They say he was on the verge of something bigger, maybe even about to expose something major. And that's exactly when everything went left. So now the question echoing everywhere is this: was this truly just a tragic accident, or was Malcolm Jamal Warner silenced right when he started speaking too loudly? His family sure isn't backing down. The podcast, the missing pieces in the timeline, the whispers of private investigators digging deeper. None of it is going away. And if there's one thing we've learned about secrets, it's this: they don't stay buried for long, because this doesn't feel like closure. It feels like a warning. And something tells me this story, it's just getting started. R.I.P. Malcolm Jamal Warner. You know, what do you think really happened? Was it just bad luck or something much darker? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you want more deep dives into the stories they don't want you to hear, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Don't miss what's coming next, because we're about to uncover what's really going down in our hood next.